What's up, everybody? We got a better than last week, but somewhat still wonky episode or review from Friday Night Smackdown. It's just they did a better job than last week. We even got some story progression update for what Roman Reigns would be doing at WrestleMania Backlash. I just don't know why they chose to do it that way. But let's do it. Let's get into it. Thanks for everybody who joined and watched the video. Anyway, they actually, for the first time in a long time, for either Raw or SmackDown, they did not start the show with an opening promo. Instead, they kicked the show off with an opening match. There was no promo. They did. I don't even know if they. I don't think they did like a recap. Did they? No, did they? I don't think they even did a recap. I think they opened the show with the announcers, welcoming everybody, and then they went straight into the first match of the night, which was Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn in a steel cage match. And the match, obviously Sami was going to try to escape, but they actually have a match. And it was actually a pretty good match. It was pretty good. Not going to lie. Once Sami actually started trying to fight Drew, it was a pretty good match. They had pretty good spots. The superplex from basically the top of the cage. And just the using the cage as a weapon. I mean, it was pretty much it was a standard steel cage match, but it was a good match overall. It was a good way to start the show. You had nothing to complain about it. And Drew McIntyre obviously got the win here. Now, it's been rumored that he's supposed to be Roman Reigns' next opponent, but we'll get to that in a minute. Then we got the first promo of the night, which was Happy Talk. Now, this promo really wasn't. I won't say it was bad. It was no. I don't know. No, I'm gonna change my mind. It was okay. I was gonna say it wasn't. It was decent, but it was an okay promo. It wasn't good, but it was okay. Baron came out and basically just talked about how he was, how he dropped in the new and improved Happy Talk without the dead weight of Madcap, who was telling jokes that now he's saying that nobody liked, not even himself. All those jokes that he laughed at was now jokes that he didn't like. And his guest for Happy Talk was none other than Madcap's Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy, and that he was going to destroy it in the middle of the ring. And he played it off like Madcap wasn't there, basically, because of what he did to him last week. Madcap was not in the building, but Madcap was. Madcap was dressed as one of the people who basically brought the trophy down to the ring, and him and Madcap got into a brawl, and he was stopped Madcap, or I beg calling him Madcap. I can't believe I did that. After all the time saying I wasn't going to call him Madcap, I called him Madcap. Moss basically beat up Baron Corbin and basically fending him off. Baron Corbin tried to, instead of fighting back, he tried a couple times to escape the brawl, but Moss wouldn't let him. But then he threw Baron Corbin out the ring, and Baron Corbin watched as Moss standing tall. And then we found out too that it would be Moss and Baron Corbin at WrestleMania Backlash. Then we got the second match, which was Ricochet versus Shanky for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was another okay match. It was. I thought I was gonna call it good, but it was an okay match. It was the usual, since Shanky was the bigger guy, he mostly worked over Ricochet. Ricochet did get some offense here and there. I'm not gonna say he didn't, but he did. He got some offense here and there, and then he would win the match via roll up on Shanky. He got a roll up pin on Shanky. And then it looked like some dissension between Jinder Mahal and Shanky, which might seem like, which at the moment seems like it's going to be a split between the two. We went into another match, which was the debut match where Raquel Gonzalez, or as they call her on the main roster now, Rodriguez. Now, Raquel basically went up against an enhancement talent, or as I like to call them, squash match. But it wasn't a typical squash match for her. See, I mean, for the most part it was, but the person she went up against actually got some decent offense in on Raquel. But Raquel did dominate most of the match, and for the most part, at least for the in-ring work, Raquel is still Raquel. Now I don't know what's been going on with her with the promo part. Like in the promos, she's not Raquel in the promos, but she's Raquel in the ring. In the promos, I don't know what they was having her doing, and I hope they never do it again. But yeah, Raquel got the victory here. And then we got the contract signing between RK Bro and the Usos. So here go the weird. This is where the weird wonkiness with Roman Reigns starts. So RK Bro and the Usos make their way to the ring to sign the contract, right? They promoted this earlier. I forgot they did promote this earlier in the day. But anyway, we here. So they argue with each other. Riddle already cleared the ring, and Adam Pearce tell them. Also I forgot to mention too. Drew Gulak was is now trying to audition to be the ring the bell ringer. But just to throw that out there, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, so they get ready to sign. They're trying to sign a contract, but then the Usos cut a promo. You just hear them Randy tell them to sign a contract. But before they signed it, they did a promo about them being the twos and they're the ones. And then they get ready to sign the contract. But then Randy Orton cut a promo. And Riddle had a funny one where his promo was just basically that he wanted Adam Pearce to put name tags on Jimmy and Jake, and he can't tell Jimmy and Jay apart. And Randy, instead of like Randy being like, this is serious, so he leads into this promo and basically continue it by saying, you don't know who these two are? Come on, how can you not know that this man right here, he's talking about Jay, is the right hand man to the tribal chief. And he was like, and you see Jay, he's dabbing up his brother, said about time they recognize, about time. And then he said, and then he called Jimmy, he said, this one's just a little B. So and Jimmy looks and gets mad and basically starts a brawl with the RK Bro. So RK Bro and the Usos are now fighting. There's no contract being signed. And all of a sudden, when RK Bro gets the upper hand, here comes Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns basically comes out and distracts RK Bro while the Usos get back the upper hand. And now all three is in the ring beating up on RK Bro. And basically Roman, he got the contract for the unification match, and he said, no, he said, no, it ain't going down like this, blah, blah, blah. So he rips up the contract and feeds it to Matt Riddle, who the Usos by this point had beaten up Randy, had not Randy Orton out with a double super kick, and had Riddle hoisted up to so that Roman could do that. So after Roman does that, all of a sudden Drew McIntyre's music hit. Okay. So Drew McIntyre, he comes out and helps RK Bro by even the odds, and he basically takes care of the Usos, and then he takes care of Roman. And basically the Usos, while sitting the Usos and Roman packing, Drew McIntyre and them stand tall. So later it will be Paul Heyman who goes to Adam Pearce and basically suggests an upgrade match. So now I'll say an upgrade. So we're going to keep the unification match, but we're going to add something else to it. No. As a matter of fact, now Paul Heyman suggests that the match at WrestleMania be a 6-man tag match. This is your main champion, people. This is what the unifying the champion. Now the championship is not even about to be defended. The tag team titles is not even about to be defended. There's about to be this pay-per-view is already about to be whack as hell because there's no championship other than maybe the Raw, the Smackdowns for sure, and maybe the Raw's winning the championship. What else is this show was going to be? What else this show is going to be about? They're not even. Paul Heyman basically suggested Adam Pearce that it be a 6-man tag, and that when Adam Pearce gave pushback saying he can't do that because he got the unification match at WrestleMania. He can't just change the match. He said he can, and he will, and then later on it was revealed that it will be. Now instead of being the unification match for both titles, now it's just going to be a 6-man tag with Drew McIntyre and RK Bro versus the Usos and Roman Reigns. That's the whole thing they've been talking about. That's what they've been talking about. That's what Roman's going to be doing at WrestleMania Backlash. He's not going to be defending the titles. He's just going to be in a 6-man tag. Which means the titles are being defended at WrestleMania Backlash so far confirmed is just the SmackDown Women's Championship. Not even the women's tag team title is going to be defended at WrestleMania Backlash. Okay, so I ran them on long enough. Then with all that being said, we just get to the 4th match of the night, which was Naomi versus Shayna Baszler. Good match overall, was okay. They didn't have no problem with it, and Naomi got the victory here. But Shayna Baszler and Natalya would beat up both Sasha and Naomi after the match. Then we would get King Woods versus Ridge Holland. This match was okay. Again, I don't know why. He's coming out dressed like he's royalty, but they are calling him Xavier Woods instead of King Woods. And I don't know what's going on with it, but that aside, the match was good. It was okay. Ridge Holland and Kofi put on a good match. King Woods put on a good match, and King Woods would actually win the match via roll-up. He would roll Ridge Holland up. But this wouldn't be the end. Sheamus would be so mad. And plus, they somehow misplaced Butch again. This time, they don't know where he's at. And they say he was at Coachella. But yeah, Sheamus would get mad over Ridge Holland losing. So he told Kofi he wanted to show Ridge Holland how it's done. And he challenged Kofi, which was bring us to a next match, which was an impromptu match, which was Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus, which was also a good match, but Sheamus would come out on top in this one. So, but the bigger story here is that after Sheamus won, there would be additional attack from Ridge Holland and Sheamus, where they will beat up on both of them, and they put Kofi and them through tables, which would then lead to what we get next week, which is Kofi and King Woods versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus in the tables match. We got another Lacey Evans promo talking about her family trauma and how she overcame it. And then came our 2-match main event, where the first match was Ronda Rousey versus Saucy Blackheart in an I Quit Beat the Clock challenge. And she basically, Ronda, after a few chases Saucy, Ronda would beat Saucy via the ankle lock submission at 1 minute and 41 seconds. Then came time for Charlotte, who cut a promo saying that was the only victory that Ronda was ever going to get, and that she's going to and that she told Aaliyah, who was her opponent, to come out and get her 10 seconds of fame with Charlotte Flair, and she kept shooting Ronda out the ring who didn't want to leave the ring for some reason. But then we got the match on the way, and Charlotte basically toured around with Aaliyah. Aaliyah got some good offense, and but this will become Charlotte Flair's downfall as she toyed with Aaliyah too much, wasted too much time, and allowed Aaliyah to get enough separation of time. I think she tried to put her in the figure 8, but Aaliyah kicked her out of the ring. But then she realized she got kicked out of the ring, wasted too much time, getting her shut up and kicked out of the ring. So she tried to hurry back in the ring, shut her back up, and did. But by the time she bridged and into the figure 8, it was already down to 3 seconds. And right when the clock hit 0, which means that Aaliyah won the match, that's when Aaliyah basically tapped out and said, "I quit." But because it was already hit 0, it didn't count. Therefore, Aaliyah won, which means in the grander scheme, Ronda won overall. And that was it. The end of the match is with who's gonna say "I quit" at WrestleMania Backlash. I have absolutely the worst problem with this. What was the point? There was literally nothing on the line. Literally nothing. There was nothing on the line for this I quit beat the clock challenge. There was nothing on the line, which made this pointless. Other than to get Saucy and Aaliyah on screen and some screen time, this was absolutely the worst way to end the show. But I digress. Overall, I give this episode of Friday Night Smackdown, for the most part, it was decent. So I'm going to give it a decent score of a 7 out of 10 big ups, because it was a decent show. Wasn't the greatest, it wasn't the best, but it was way better than last week, I'll tell you that much. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought. If you enjoyed this review, then you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this review so much, you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things, because I enjoyed your feedback, and your feedback helps me do this a lot better. And as always, hit you on these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go nowhere, because I got gameplay and reactions coming your way. Peace out.